The first time Emily heard the whispers, she thought it was the wind. But the wind doesn't call your name. Emily had just moved into the old Victorian house on the edge of town, a place her realtor had called as steel despite its crumbling facade and overgrown garden. The house had been vacant for decades, and the townsfolk avoided it like the plague. But Emily, a freelance writer with a penchant for solitude, saw it as the perfect place to finish her novel. The whispers started on her second night. Soft, almost imperceptible, they seemed to come from the walls themselves. At first, she dismissed them as her imagination, the product of an overactive mind fueled by too much coffee and too little sleep. But as the nights wore on, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. They called her name, beckoning her to the basement. The basement was a gaping maw of darkness, its wooden stairs creaking under her weight. The air was thick with the scent of mildew and something else, something metallic. Emily's flashlight flickered as she descended, casting long, jagged shadows on the stone walls. The whispers grew louder, a cacophony of voices overlapping in a language she couldn't understand. At the bottom of the stairs, she found a door. It was old, its paint peeling, and etched into the wood were symbols that made her skin crawl. The whispers seemed to emanate from behind it, urging her to open it. Her hand trembled as she reached for the rusted handle, the cold metal biting into her palm. Emily wasn't a superstitious person. She prided herself on her rationality, her ability to see the world for what it was. But standing there in the bowels of that ancient house, she felt a fear so primal it rooted her to the spot. She thought of her mother, who had always warned her about old houses and the secrets they held. She thought of her ex-boyfriend, who had called her reckless for moving into a place like this. And for the first time, she wondered if they were right. But curiosity had always been her downfall. With a deep breath, she turned the handle and pushed the door open. The room beyond was small, its walls covered in more of those strange symbols. In the center stood a mirror, its surface blackened with age. The whispers stopped abruptly, replaced by an oppressive silence. Emily stepped closer, her reflection distorted in the tarnished glass. And then she saw it. Behind her, in the mirror, was a figure. Tall and gaunt, its skin stretched tight over its bones, its eyes hollow pits of darkness. It reached for her, its fingers long and skeletal. Emily spun around, but there was nothing there. When she turned back to the mirror, the figure was gone. But the whispers returned, louder now, more urgent. They weren't coming from the walls. They were coming from the mirror. Emily stumbled back, her heart pounding in her chest. She wanted to run, to leave the house and never look back. But something held her there, a force she couldn't explain. The whispers grew into a deafening roar, and the mirror began to crack, black tendrils oozing from its surface. The last thing Emily saw before the darkness consumed her was her own reflection, twisted and grotesque, smiling back at her. The house stood silent once more, its secrets buried deep within its walls. And if you listen closely on a quiet night, you might hear the whispers too, calling your name, beckoning you to the basement. But beware, some doors are better left unopened.